What you have for us?
Yes, so yesterday we told you about the fact that the LGBT plus cases, Richard Sky and Amanda Odoi, were coming up at the Supreme Court, and we anticipated a very long and a very, in fact, long consistency. But unfortunately, yesterday the cases were called, although, but it was just for some interlocutory matters. You notice that one of the contentions, one of the issues that we have spoken about so many times is how this particular case is not yet ready for the Supreme Court to hear. Honorable Sam George and the team stormed the street, protested against the judiciary for the delay. And the point that they made was that the case is not ready because the parties themselves have not filed their statement of case and even to agree on a joint memorandum of issues and all that. So we noticed that when the legal year began, the Speaker, through his lawyers, Thaddeus Sorry, went to the Supreme Court for extension of time. It was granted. Yesterday, the Attorney General was at the Supreme Court also seeking extension of time to file their statement of case. And yesterday, a single judge, Justice Yao Dakwasari, was the only person who sat. Both cases were called, and the Attorney General's request for time to be able to file statement of out of time was granted after lawyers of the other parties did not oppose. But one thing came up, the financial physical analysis that has been the bone of contention. According to the AG's office, it is the reason they have not filed or they have delayed in filing their statement because they wanted to get that document to know what to say. But they said it is what it is. They haven't had that opportunity to do it. So yesterday, the court gave the AG 7 days to file their statement of case in relation to them. And the 7 days start from when the order was given, so yesterday. But Pakwesi Abedu, who is counsel for Richard Sky, has this to say immediately after the court sitting.
This is a private member bill, and it can never be admitted by the Speaker without a financial impact analysis report, so that the government will know the amount of money involved in accepting that bill. You see, and this is where our challenge has been right from the onset, that the Speaker made an irregular admission because that particular report was not attached to the bill. And over 6 months along the line in court, it has been, we are bringing it, and yet it has not reached. Between the court, between Parliament and here, that document has not reached. It takes 10 minutes to drive from here to Parliament, and yet that document has not reached.
So that is Pakwesi Abedu, counsel for Richard Sky, wondering why that particular report has not got into the court, looking at the distance between Parliament and the Supreme Court. But Sawa, what's your take on a will? Do you believe in will? Do you have one?
Well, with what I know about wills, I am a very strong advocate for wills,
okay.
right? And I think that people need a lot of education, you know, on why they need to put their wills together. And I know when you talk about wills, people keep saying that, oh, I don't have much. I don't have, you know, many houses, so I do not probably
and
need
people
a
think
will.
when you make a will, you are going to die.
No, exactly. That's also another point, which is absolutely not the case. You know, you can update your will all the time, every single time, anytime you actually wish. You are better off having a will, and it doesn't mean that you're going to die. Don't let anybody tell you that you're going to die. You know,
just
but
putting your property in proper perspective.
Exactly. Yes. Even though we must state that, you know, the laws are such that if you do not have a will and you die, it doesn't mean that, you know, your property will end up in the wrong hands, because there are laws protecting your wife and your kids and all that. But honestly, it's in your best interest.
Yes, to get something documented.
Yes.
Something that pass through the court and you see people sealing, but normally it used to be in that brown envelope, and they are sealing it with very interesting.
Yeah, I think that everybody, yes. I hope that you have a will.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yes,
okay.
Not yet.
Well,
Well, I have my lawyers on standby to put together. Look, even if you have one car.
Yes, just make sure that
or just one house, put it in a will.
But how well
it's just a document.
How
it's
well
just a
do you
paper.
trust people that you entrust to ensure that your will goes to the right hands? How well would you trust people like that? Because definitely somebody will be there and say, when so and so was in existence or was living, this and this and this and what he said, without any influence.
Please ask the question
I'm asking.
again.
So definitely somebody must there to witness that, yes, you made
Yes.
this will and sign ABC.
Yes, certainly.
When it's time for sharing the will,
Yeah.
you are not available. How
Yes.
well do you trust people who are supposed to be the referees that you appointed?
Oh, but Murtala, I mean, with all you know about the court and the law, the laws govern these things. If you have a lawyer, you know, who will supervise this, yes, you're supposed to have two people to attest to the will and all that. It shouldn't be a problem because, once again, there are laws. Don't think that somebody will entrust you with their property and you can just run away and do whatever you want to do with it. And you also actually know that if someone makes you attest to a will, I mean, before you are able to share the property, as you know, you actually need letters of administration.
Absolutely.
And these are things you get from the courts. You can't just be sharing the things at your will, because when you do, it's an offense and it's punishable by law, for which you could actually go to jail.
Yes.
You could go to prison for dealing with someone's property when you have not been asked to deal with it, you know? So yeah, I don't think that should be a problem.
Yeah, so there's a case in point that we are discussing, and a lawyer is in court now.
Oh, yeah,
you remember that
yeah,
case? A lawyer is in court with some siblings, and it has gotten to a stage where the case is taking an interesting turn. So the complainant in the matter, Alhaji Salia, has filed a petition at the Office of the Attorney General because how the police is handling the issue. The case is at the Achimota Circuit Court.
Okay.
5 people were on the charge sheet, including the lawyer, a chief, and 3 siblings. What has become later is that at the last court sitting, there was an update that the police want to drop the siblings. So the question is, how could the lawyer act alone without, and siblings who are supposed to know their father's will? It turned out that certain underhand dealings went allegedly, and then the matter is in court. So the complainant in the matter, who is also a sibling to some of the people who were accused, went to the Office of the Attorney General to file a petition. And let's listen to him immediately after he filed a petition at the AG's office.
But I felt like I didn't agree to it, or I wasn't in line with that decision, because I've always trusted the prosecution or the legal department of a police department. So for them to sign off the docket and move to court for a couple of months and later think that they have to make such changes, it never sat well with me. Especially when you look at the same parties went to take a probate, executed the will, took a probate, and then at the blind side of me and my other siblings and the whole family, including 2 surviving spouses. And then when we challenged the source of they getting the probate, they couldn't even respond. They just totally agreed and surrendered the probate back to the court on 22nd of May, 2023. So for you to sign an affidavit and take a probate, and the moment I come out with my lawyers or attorneys to challenge it, you just surrendered it. So that means they know, all those 5, the A1 to A5 know that they obtained a probate certificate in a due, fair manner. So I don't know why, prosecution couldn't look at that, that motion of affidavit and know that at least they are part of the conspiracy. As far as the conspiracy, I feel like definitely they are part of it.
We apologize, for the sound quality there. We apologize greatly for that.
So that is the complainant.
Okay.
It's also a sibling to some of the people who were 3 siblings who were part of these on the charge sheet. And the police is saying that the siblings should be taken out of the matter. And you are asking, then how did the lawyer get this information and all that? So he sent a petition to the Office of the Attorney General for the AG to call for the docket to look at what has happened and probably if there could be a revision on that. So this case, in the coming days, will give you more updates in relation to that. So the person that we spoke to is Alhaji Salia, who is the complainant in this very matter. So that's all we'll be having for you in relation to court today.
Yes. Thank you very much. We'll see you, God willing, Monday.
Absolutely. Monday, we'll be telling you about an election manual launched by the Judicial Service, the 5th edition. In fact, it came in 3 volumes. We'll tell you all about it and the parties who are going for the 2024 election, both parliamentary and presidential. If you want to, if there's a dispute and you want to go to the court, you need to read that book and ensure that you understand, you know where to start from, where to go. And
as
even,
a lawyer,
yes,
or
as a
even
lawyer
as
and
a
as a party, yes,
as
you
a
should
party,
be absolutely.
okay.
So if you go, the CJ is saying that if you go to a wrong forum, the chances are that you may have a good case, but your case will be thrown out. So Monday
but you
will
know,
bring you
I think that we have tried on this show to give some basic education on how to go about
absolutely.
it. If it's a parliamentary case, it starts from the High Court and it ends at the Court of Appeal. It doesn't get to the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court doesn't have jurisdiction.
Yes.
If it's a presidential election, the Supreme Court is the only court that has original and exclusive jurisdiction to deal with the case. This shouldn't be so difficult to
So they note,
handle.
They note from the previous disputes, cases, so
that
for
people
instance,
have been confused about
people have
the
been
right
confused,
forum.
and in fact, there are a lot of things that have been. For instance, the case will have to travel beyond a certain number of days. These books that they have come up, they'll spell out when a complainant will file processes, when the respondent will have to, complete time frame, complete guideline to deal with those issues. So Monday will bring you all the ins and outs of that particular launch that was performed by the Chief Justice yesterday.
Okay, thank you very much, Murtala Inusah.